This is the Aston Martin V8 Vantage.
Aston has positioned the Vantage as their entry-level car.
The cheap one at $140,000.
Welcome to Aston Martin.
Let's be honest, the logical reasons for buying a car have been thrown completely out the window once you start spending six figures. What you're paying for in the Aston is the experience of being in a special car.
I just want to sit here and gaze at the interior. What differentiates this interior are the materials. Look at the instrument panel. It's like jewelry. It's all machined just so. It looks very watch-like and functional.
I just can't believe how supple and fantastic the leather is in this car. It really is like sitting in a nice leather jacket. The Bang & Olufsen stereo has speakers that pop up out of the dash and look like little mushrooms. There's exposed metal. There's fasteners that are purpose-built to be seen on the door.
Even the door pull is a casting. The seats are comfortable. The driving position is comfortable. You could drive this thing all the time.
Believe it or not, this baby Aston has more room for the driver and passenger than the DB9. Not only could you take a cross-country road trip, you sit in the Vantage and you want to.
It's such a special car.
Now, there's places where Aston Martin has played the special card a little bit too far. The key, for example, they call the emotion control unit, and the Aston Martin is known for its 3 words on the dash on startup. And that's a little gimmicky, unless of course it's going to tell you how it feels all the time, like drained, tired, and low on oil. That could be helpful. Otherwise, let's just start the car already.
I don't think most people are going to notice. I think what you're going to notice is how well this car drives. When the car was introduced in '06, it came with a V8 that a lot of people said was underpowered. So Aston decided to bump it up to 420 horsepower.
Nothing about the performance in the Aston Martin is going to be shocking, but it's not disappointing either.
This car is not slow. Oh. Are there faster cars? Yes, of course there are. But it's not always about having the most power, the quickest 0 to 60 times, the fastest, the bestest, the mostest. This package is just right, really nimble.
The power never feels dangerous or surprising. It's just a constant, steady, confident surge. And more powerful supercars can just make you smile with sheer grunt. The Aston can't do that.
Would I want more power? Of course, more power is great, but whatever. This car is such a well-designed, well-executed package.
This car is very female. It's very sensual. The rear track is wider than the front, and it has hips and great flowing lines down the side.
What I really like about the back of the Vantage is how that ducktail spoiler comes around the rear 3/4 of the car and goes right into the shoulder line. This car is sex on wheels.
Here's a car that's really no longer than a Porsche Cayman S. It looks about twice as long, and that has everything to do with that great flowing shoulder and roof line.
There's not a lot of unnecessary scoops and holes and fins and junk all over the car. It's a single shape, a beautiful shoulder line, and a pretty face.
Now, I hate it in this color.
I like it because it's not too flashy. It's a special car, people notice you, but it doesn't shout, hey, look at all this money that I spent.
This car looks great in yellow. It looks fantastic in red. Why mute it with this off-color gray?
You buy it because it's a classy understatement.
No one is buying an exotic car to be ignored. And you might think, oh, I like it in gray. I like it in silver. I feel like James Bond. You're not James Bond. I'm not James Bond. But it is a beautiful car.
What the Vantage says is that you know something that everybody else doesn't. This is not necessarily just a GT car. This is Aston's sports car. There's a sharpness. When you start to go real fast through some high-speed corners, and this car comes alive. The reason the Vantage feels so nimble, it's got a near perfect 50-50 weight distribution.
The Aston's driving dynamics are as accessible and comforting as its interior. There's nothing about the Vantage that is daunting. You can drive this very expensive car very fast and never feel like it's going to get away from you or suddenly, oh my lord, what's happening?
Now, it's not a track car, but I think you can drive this all the time. And I know exactly where this car's going to land when I come out of the corner.
It gives the impression that most owners are probably going to get to take this car pretty close to its limits and really enjoy themselves. The Aston's trying to be an event. And it is. But there are cars that are far cheaper that will outperform the Aston in almost every area. These V8 Vantage have not held their value well, which means you can find them for almost half price. That's almost worth considering.
But I liken this car to people who wear expensive watches. There's just something about them that says they've got some taste and class, but they're not trying to flaunt it.
I don't even wear a watch.
I'm having trouble finding things I don't like. I love this car. I could drive it all the time.
If you want your exotic to feel like a world beater, the Vantage isn't for you. If you want it to feel special, it's hard to beat this.